name is Christopher, and I'll be doing my cultural artifact with my wrestling shoes. So just a show of hands, do you guys, when you guys think about wrestling, do you guys think about WWE? Yeah? Oh, no? Oh, but, start off with the quote. Dan Gable, a retired American Olympic wrestler and head coach, said that once you wrestle, everything else in life is so much easier. So with wrestling, it builds that personal trait to have a greater understanding of the culture and with life as well. So with these shoes, it represents the perseverance, the hard work, the blood, and the tears that I've gone throughout my wrestling career in high school. And I think it's important that people understand that with these shoes, that it's just not like an old form of combat that's a popular series sport and an old form of stage entertainment. So like that fake WWE stuff, but I mean, but that with these shoes, you can embrace life lessons. By learning what I've gone through with these shoes, you'll have a great understanding of how these wrestling cultures shaped my identity. So I'll be discussing a little brief history of wrestling and how what it takes to be a wrestler, and I'll be discussing how the culture shaped who the person I am today. So with a brief history, it's been depicted for over 15,000 years ago in cave drawings, and I believe it's, well, actually the Greeks. The Greeks. Well, it's popular in wrestling is popular in Greek literature and legends, so such as Zeus, and it's the #1 sport. Well, at the time, it was the #1 sport and the most brutal, but shortly afterwards, the Romans defeated them, and shortly afterwards they adopted the sport as well. But they eliminated the brutality because they got really crazy. So, in the results of that, the Greeks fear that the Romans would. The Greeks fear that the sport would be lost forever. So it was shortly afterwards that the Greco-Roman wrestling was born. So for those that may not know, it's just another style of wrestling, just with restrictions of throwing your opponent. So now that I talked a little bit about the brief history, I'll be discussing about what it takes to be a wrestler. So my years in high school, in my years in high school, there's little room for eating and food. So it was kind of tough for me. So there'll be time where I would have to fast for a week, and I would have to fast for a week to make the desired weight class for an upcoming tournament. And man, it was rough. Like, it was tough. But that happened. And I know when you fast, like you have you develop bad eating habits. So for me, I have a smaller appetite. I can't eat a lot. But for other people, like my other friends, they eat a lot now. So, excuse me, they eat a lot. And now when everybody's enjoying their rest of the day, we tend to practice in a gym, and it gets to the point where when we sweat, our sweat would be on the walls as well. So it gets really disgusting. I don't know how I did it, but I managed to get through. And that was it. And I'll be discussing how this wrestling culture, shaped my identity as of today. So this culture, it's been like I said, it's been rough. It's been rough for me since day one. I started my freshman year until my senior year, and it was, excuse me. Well, one of the things that, obviously when I started, I'm still am today. I was the smallest kid in the team. So, but I was able to participate as long as I met the requirements of GPA and showing up to practice every day. But not only that, but one of the traits I picked up was that you gain self-confidence. You control your discipline. You have that mental toughness. You have that sportsmanship and your competitiveness. And some of those traits I picked up during wrestling, I'm able to apply it to the real world now. So that was that. And to conclude with the presentation, now I hope you guys have a great understanding where wrestling comes from and where it's been for this entire time. And one of the main points I reviewed was that a little bit of the history and a little bit of the culture. And a closer, the benefits that I gained throughout wrestling, I'm able to apply it to the real world. And I'll be honest, I do miss the culture in high school. I just don't miss the fasting and starvation. So, I mean, and I do feel like, I do agree with the quote that, once you wrestle, that everything else in life is a lot more easier. That's it.